Auckland, in a sense, is the city of events, meaning it is not a city of a singular identity, but it is a city of becoming into things and never actually staying still. Meaning that Auckland is a boom and bust. It's a fancy way to say. Auckland has always been, in my experience, is a boom and bust city. You know, it's always been driven by the commercial interest, the interest of capital in the city. I know that the urban design group have tried to put a more cohesive picture of what Auckland as a building fabric could be in terms of maintaining or sustaining a historical aspect and then building new aspects of a city to certain kind of aesthetic height restrictions, dimensions, but still Auckland is still ruled by a certain kind of thinking that when the money is available, we go for it, we build what we like, and in a sense, if you look right down the street, the centre, Queen Street, you can see historically these buildings as being very much representative of a, you know, we get the opportunity, we screw as the council or the city as much as we can so we can go up as high and as cheap as we can. And there you have it. I mean, that is not necessarily a negative thing, that's what I mean. Auckland is an extremely fractious city in a productive way. I mean, I guess a lot of people would like to see it having these lovely plaza boulevards, kind of the more European city, where there is a more conglomeration around these old ideals of the square. I mean, that's a European concept, the square, the plaza. But if you look at any examples from New World, you look at Japan, you look at North America, to some extent Japan and New Zealand, we are not used to the captured kind of spaces like squares and boulevards that you have in the European city. Our sensibilities are slightly different. We're more oriented towards, if you like, what I said, events. Certain points, things happen. And usually, of course, the motor car in these cities, like in Japan, maybe in China, and North America certainly, the thing that joins these points is the mobility transportation systems. So you never quite develop a more organic systems like the European had with the square, plaza, kind of, which were the old mercantile focus of old Europe. I mean, again, it's probably quite interesting to make a comparison between Auckland and somewhere like Wellington, where Wellington's, it's a lot more, it has a certain kind of glue about the place. Well, in fact, Auckland, if anything, why artists somehow live and very productive in Auckland is because it has no particular kind of glue. In fact, people just use it. It's a very productive city in that sense, where you can just come and use it and leave it. I don't know, maybe we don't, in terms of architecture, maybe our architectonic sensibility is never kind of substantial enough. We never quite built with a substance that, say, Europeans have, certain kind of, vernacular communities in South America have. It's to do with mass. Building have certain kind of mass, certain kind of desire for stabilities, making place. Well, I have this theory about Auckland. It's a Pacific city. In Pacific, the Polynesian people tend to build not with mass, but with temporal materials. So, maybe Auckland, or in that sense, New Zealand, has a certain kind of sensibility that is less about permanence, but the more about the temporal. There's a true fabric that's yet to kind of really grow roots. But maybe that's how it is. The place has got a certain kind of spirituality, which is, if you believe the tangata whenua, it's there's a certain kind of spirituality that can never be alienated, and maybe all our desires and all our fantasies about the place can never take root because there's a certain kind of sensibility that is in the undergrowth that can never be sublimated.